Hey mama, welcome to MOMDAY. My name is Ella. I am in my third trimester and you're joining me for this hip opener and glute release mobility flow. You can do this at any stage of your pregnancy. It's a feel-good flow, but it's also going to help to prepare your body for birth, especially in your third trimester as you approach your due date. We don't need any equipment for this mobility flow. If you like to use yoga blocks for a little bit of additional support, I'll show you how you can add these in. I recommend turning down the lights, putting on some comfy clothes, and when you're ready, let's jump into our flow. We're going to start our flow in a hands and knees position for some pelvic tilts. So we're going to have our wrists underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. You're going to take an inhale, drop your belly forward, lifting your tailbone. And then we're going to exhale, reverse that. Think about tucking the tailbone under and rounding through that lower back. And then we're just going to roll through those two movements, tucking and untucking the pelvis. You can think about tilting the pelvis forward, anterior tilt, and then tucking under for that posterior tilt. This is just working to create some mobility throughout the pelvis. And you just want to be gentle here, moving in your own time. Taking big inhales, expanding the rib cage 360 degrees. And then long passive exhales, just let all that air out. Trying to release even more tension with every breath. Tapping into that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest, that digest system that tells our body we're safe. We can relax and release. The more we can tap into that system during pregnancy, it's going to really help us as we come into our labor to release tension in our body. It's going to allow for that natural process of childbirth to happen without you holding tension and restricting. Nice job, mama. From here, we're going to come into a neutral spine, so somewhere in between that anterior and posterior tilt. I want you to think about engaging your core here gently, tuck the toes, and we're going to lift the hips coming into a down dog. You can have your feet out really nice and wide here to make room for your belly. This isn't comfortable for you, you can just come into a puppy pose. But if you're with me and you're up in that down dog, you can pedal out the feet, stretching a little bit more through the backs of the legs and the calves. You can think about pressing your hands into the floor and dropping the chest towards your thighs. Even deeper stretch and a little stretch through the back as well. Remember to keep breathing here. Nice and passive with those breaths. Big inhales, long exhales. And then when you're ready, you're going to step your right foot forward to the outside of your right hand, dropping that back knee down to the floor, coming into this low lizard position. And you can just hang out here for a second. You can drop the knee out to the side, finding an area that feels a little bit sticky or tight and just breathing into that space. You can shift the hips from side to side here. And then we're going to take our right hand, so the same arm as the leg that's forward, and we're just going to open up towards the ceiling, coming into a little thoracic twist. You can drop the elbow down to the floor, finding range of motion here. Nice job. Let's go for one more of these little thoracic openers. And then I'm going to push myself up to this kind of half kneeling position. Think about tucking the pelvis under, coming into that posterior tilt. You should feel that really nice stretch and lengthening through the front of the pelvis here, through those hip flexors. Option to reach your arm up and over for more side body expansion. Really thinking about breathing into those lateral ribs. If you need to place a blanket underneath your knees for a little bit more comfort throughout this flow, then please feel free. And then if you want to, you can take a hold of those yoga blocks. We're gonna pull back into a hamstring stretch. So you can be up on blocks here, or you can have your hands down on the floor, whatever's more comfy for you. Getting a little bit of stretch through the back of the leg. And then you can walk yourself forward, coming back into that half lunge position. Either on yoga blocks, or you can just be on your hands here. And then from this position, I'm gonna walk my foot in to about the center line of the mat underneath my body. And then I'm gonna drop that knee down to the floor, coming into a little pigeon pose here on the right side. Now, option to be up on the hands. You can also come down to the forearms here. And again, just zoning in on that breath. Big inhales, long exhales. Letting your body be heavy, melting into the mat. If you're down on your forearms, you can push yourself back up to your hands. And then I'm going to place my hands behind me, and we're going to come into some hip switches here, just dropping one knee in towards the midline and then switching. You can keep your hands behind you here. And then I'm going to come into this 90-90 position with my right leg at the front and my left leg at the back, both knees at 90 degrees. And we're just going to fold over that front leg, fold over that back leg, working both external rotation and internal rotation at the hip. And then I'm going to reach my right arm up and over, coming into, again, another side body opener, really breathing into those lateral ribs here. And then place your hands down behind you. We're going to come into a seated half straddle with the right leg extended. And for this one, we can square off the hips and the shoulders in the direction of the leg. Take a big inhale, reach up really nice and tall with the spine, and then exhale, folding over that front leg. And we should feel a nice hamstring stretch, inner thigh stretch here. If you want to, you can grab a hold of the foot and we give a really gentle pull on the foot. But again, we want to be really gentle and just pat it with our body here. And then I'm going to come up nice and tall, put my hands behind me again. We're going to come into a figure 4 stretch on this right side. So I'm going to place my right ankle across my left knee. And you can think about pushing your right knee down towards the floor, and you should feel that amazing stretch through your glutes and your piriformis on that right side. If you want to intensify the stretch, you can walk your foot closer towards you, and if you need a little bit less, then just walk that foot further away from you. So find a position here that just feels comfy in your body, where you can feel that nice stretch. Nice job, mama. Release, and then we're going to come back into our all fours position. And you can have your knees out really nice and wide here. I'm just going to draw really big circles with the hips in one direction. And then when you're ready, you can go in the other direction. And then back in that all fours position, and I'm going to gaze over my right side towards my right foot, creating like a C shape with my spine, and then over the other side, creating that C shape on the left side. And then from this all fours position, I'm going to come back into my low lizard lunge on the left side. So I'm going to step my left foot forward onto the outside of my left hand. And if you need to, you can take your yoga blocks here in this low lizard position, just to prop you up a little bit more and create a little bit of extra space for that belly. And again, just hanging out here, moving the hips one side to the other side, feeling anywhere where you have a little bit more tension. And then we're going to go for that thoracic opener on this left side. So left arm reaches up, and then you can drop that elbow down. And then I'm going to pull myself up to that hip flexor stretch on that right side. Again, thinking about tucking the pelvis under, feel that amazing stretch through the front side of the pelvis. And then option, if you want to, reach that arm up and over. Really breathing into those side ribs. Getting that nice full expansion of those lateral ribs. And then sitting our bum back for a little hamstring stretch, flexing that foot. Again, option to use your yoga blocks here for a little bit of more support. And then when you're ready, pull forward, and we're gonna walk that foot in a little bit closer and drop that knee down, coming into our pigeon pose on this left side now. Option to stay up on the hands, or you can drop down to the forearms. Again, just being really gentle with our body, not pushing it into positions or places it doesn't want to be, but also finding those really nice stretches. And then it's really important that we take those big breaths so that we know that we can release and relax in these positions. It's going to help to create length in our muscles rather than holding tension. Nice job, mama. When you're ready, push up onto the hands if you were down, and then we're gonna just lower down onto that back glute muscle. Hands can be behind us. We're just gonna go for those hip switches. And then coming into our 90-90 position with the left leg at the front this time, and our right leg behind us. Just reset that 90-degree angle with the knee, squaring off the hips and the shoulders, and then just gently folding over that front leg, and then switching, folding over that back leg. And then I'm going to reach my left arm up and over for that nice side body opener. We're going to come into our seated half straddle on the left side this time. So left leg is extended. We can bring that right leg in, squaring off the hips and the shoulders, and then just gently forward folding over that front leg. Again, option to hold on to the foot or even just the shin for a little bit of an extra pull, or you can just be totally passive here, feeling that nice stretch through the back of the leg and through the inner thigh. For our next position, we're going to come into our figure 4 on this left side. So placing our hands behind us, and I'm going to cross my left leg over my right knee. And again, just find a placement of the foot that feels comfy in your body, where you can really feel that stretch. Can be a really amazing release of the piriformis if you have any sciatic nerve pain throughout pregnancy, where the sciatic nerve is feeling compressed. Can be because the piriformis is tight, so this figure 4 can feel amazing. You can do this before bed, when you wake up in the morning. Okay, next we're going to come into a frog pose for a little bit of a groin inner thigh release. So we're going to have our feet out nice and wide. Now, if you need to put pillows or a blanket underneath your knees for this, then feel free, just to make it a little bit more comfy for you. You're going to have your knees out really nice and wide, feet out nice and wide, and then you can stay up on your hands like this, or you can come down to your forearms. And then to increase the stretch, you can think about sending your weight back, so sending your bum back towards your heels, and you'll feel how even that subtle little movement can really change the tension through the inner thighs. And again, just breathing here. You can let your belly be heavy, tilting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Really breathing into that posterior pelvic floor, the muscles between your two sitting bones. Really allowing them to find length with each inhale. Notice if you're gripping your jaw, gripping your glutes, gripping your abs, gripping your bum, just let everything go. Nice job, Mama. We're going to stay here for one more breath. And then push yourself up onto your hands. Our final pose for today is going to be a puppy pose. So we're going to have our knees out nice and wide as you like, but then we're going to have our feet out even wider than our knees, coming into some internal rotation. And then you're going to walk your hands forward, keeping your bum up nice and high. And again, we're breathing into the pelvic floor, the space between your two sit bones. And you can reach your arms far forward, really reaching with those fingertips. Feel a stretch through the lats, through the back. And then I'm going to bring my feet in together. And if you want to, you can sit your hips all the way back and down, coming into a little child's pose. A final resting pose here. Again, just let your body be heavy. Taking a second for gratitude for this incredible body, growing your baby, moving your body, supporting you throughout pregnancy, and also preparing for labor. Pregnancy can be so challenging, so taking just a moment of gratitude for how incredible it is to go through all of these changes can be so powerful. Nice job, Mama. You can stay in that child's pose for as long as you have or as long as you need. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me for that mobility flow, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in our next movement session together. Bye, Mama. If you enjoyed that mobility flow, you can join me over on the MOMDAY app, where we have pregnancy and postpartum workouts, mobility flows, labor prep flows, education, and more. It's all free to try for 7 days. So come and move with me. I'll leave the link down below.